What's up, guys, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. Our first question comes from Brock Montori, who asks if the Sith Troopers could be clones, and William Trussell asks if they could indicate the return of the Sith.
Well, they're called Sith Troopers for a reason, I assume. So yeah, I mean, that's really throwing me, honestly. I said that in my video when they were announced, but like, Kylo Ren is not a Sith. Snoke is not a Sith. They have said that over and over. JJ has said that. So the fact that they are Sith Troopers and they're like in the First Order design, I don't know. I don't know how to reconcile that yet, and I don't think we're meant to.
I don't think that they're clones, although wouldn't it be crazy if they were all clones of Finn?
Finn. Let's pick the one person that is defected and clone him.
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong.
Yeah, that's why they're so worried that he's the one that defected.
That would be funny. like, oh no! Well, I've seen people throw around the idea that they're clones of Palpatine. And I'm on the fence about that for sure. I'd say I'm mostly off the fence in that I don't want that to happen, because I've always just not liked the idea that Palpatine came back in Legends as a clone and he did the whole essence transfer thing. I just think that cheapens Vader's sacrifice and what he did. So like I'm iffy about the whole Palpatine coming back. I was excited in the trailer when I heard him laugh, and I was excited when Ian McDiarmid came out on stage, but I'm still like, ooh, this could be iffy territory for me.
Yeah, I'm still convinced that he won't physically be back, but he'll be like a ghosty ghost or something, like along those lines. But going back to clones of Palpatine, then if that were the case, he could actually make a whole Senate full of himself.
He is literally the Senate. It's all he ever wanted.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
And they're all named Frank. So instead of like FN 2187, it's like Frank 2187, Frank 4436.
Yeah.
But I guess if they were clones, but they were, it could work. The way that like the clones of Jango Fett weren't Jango Fett himself. If they were clones of Palpatine in looks and appearance, but not specifically, it's all Palpatine running around shooting Force lightning.
Yeah.
That's a thing that I think could work for me. I don't know. I do kind of think they might be clones, not specifically of Palpatine, but they said in the reveal article that they had some subtle callbacks to previous armor. And people have noted that it looks kind of like the Phase 2 clone armor, so that could be a little bit of foreshadowing there.
Yeah. Part of my speculation about the Sith Trooper is, and its name being Sith, is that maybe they answer only to Palpatine or some version of Palpatine.
Maybe it could be something like they are First Order troopers and they're like the elite troopers or something, elite of the elite, but Order 67 gets triggered.
Yeah.
And now they answer to him. I could see that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't think the fact that they're called Sith Troopers is going to be a big part of the plot, because they don't really name the names of the troopers. Like in Solo, they didn't say Mud Trooper, they didn't say Range Trooper.
Look out, Range Troopers on the Conveyex.
Yeah, they didn't say those things in the movie for any purpose. So I don't know. I don't want to look too far into it. That's
a good point. I think you're right. They're not going to be like, get the Sith Troopers out here to help. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they mentioned the Sith, but I would be surprised if they said Sith Troopers more than once. I don't know.
I agree with you. I think I'd be surprised if they said it at all. But still, they are named that, so it's got to hint towards something. And we know Palpatine's back, so I don't know if it's going to be a whole rise of the Sith or resurgence or anything, but there's something there, and I just don't know what it is.
Maybe, Kylo did say that the Jedi and the Sith, they don't need to be a thing anymore.
Yeah.
But maybe he changes his mind once he goes a little crazy and he starts looking into Sith artifacts, and maybe he finds a holocron and he's like, hey, maybe we should study this Sith stuff.
He has been doing that. Like in the Galaxy's Edge comic, he is after a Sith artifact. And
There you go.
yeah, so there's room for him to change his mind. But my first thought was like, why would Kylo Ren say, it's time for the Jedi and the Sith, all of it to end, but I'm going to name these guys Sith Troopers?
Yeah. Or maybe the artifact that he's looking for is a Sith holocron, and he uses that holocron to control the Sith Troopers. Kind of like, because they've hinted at brainwashing with the First Order Troopers before several times. Yeah, maybe he somehow controls them through a holocron.
This is why I think it's just like it's a perfect thing for them to release and tease, because all it does is make us go, what is this about? And there are no right or wrong answers yet. It's just a lot of crazy speculation. I hope we did it responsibly.
Marshall Lee Merriman wants to know, what non-movie character would we want to see cameo in The Rise of Skywalker?
Cardinal, and he beats up all the Sith Troopers, and he's like, I'm the Red Trooper.
Oh,
Bah, bah, bah.
I've actually seen a couple of people say that.
I said that. I tweeted that. I saw a couple people tweeting that, but Cardinal's the OG.
He pops up and just is like, no, I'm taking over. You stole my idea. I wore it first.
Yep. Who wore it best.
Yeah.
Jokes aside, Vi Marati, I think, would be cool. She's part of the Resistance, and I mean, she has an actress now.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say some stuff about Black Spire,
Yeah, don't
but
do that.
it's not out yet.
Don't do that.
But I agree, for where the story's at in Rise of Skywalker, I think she would be a good cameo.
The one that I think I would love to see is some Resistance tie-in. Even if it weren't like faces on screen, if the Resistance just like had everyone come in for a full-on like everything we've got battle, kind of like the Battle of Endor, and Team Fireball checked in, or Fireball Squadron, and you saw the Fireball and like all of the Aces ships flying around, kind of like you saw the Ghost in Rogue One. Like, I just got chills thinking about that. I would love that kind of connection.
Yeah, I guess we're thinking more practically, like, for the time period and who might be involved in the fight. Who would we want to show up? Is there any completely unpractical character that you would want to see?
Thrawn? There was a part of me that thought that maybe, like, the allies in the Outer Rim in The Last Jedi were going to be Chiss.
Yeah.
I think that's a very impractical and unlikely thing to happen. So, Thrawn, I'll throw that out there.
I want to see the Slicer Ewok. Peekba.
Yep.
Yes. And especially if they're on Endor and we see any Ewoks again, we got to see Peekba.
That's plausible.
Graham Gaskill asks if we think Alphabet Squadron could work with Inferno Squad in the next 2 books.
I think that's possible. We don't know what Inferno Squad was up to for a while. Like, the story jumps ahead months after they joined the New Republic. So, yeah, there is some gap in there where Alphabet could meet up.
I think it makes perfect sense. And we don't really know how much time this is going to span over the 3 books, over the trilogy. And people are saying that they would like to see it go up to the Battle of Jakku, or maybe even past that.
I'd love it to go beyond, yeah.
Yeah. But I think that makes perfect sense.
I think that it would also be cool to see Erica meet up with Iden.
Yes.
I mean, they have this similar kind of story. Erica feels very guilty for not leaving the Empire before Operation Cinder, and Iden left right at the start of Operation Cinder. So
yeah, I think they would really kick it off.
Yeah, I think Iden could offer some words of wisdom to Erica.
Ben Cossey wants to know how Palpatine might be mentally or physically in The Rise of Skywalker, since Maul went insane after being cut in half.
I'm gonna cross my fingers still and say that Palpatine won't be around physically at all. It's gonna be more of a haunting spiritual things.
Like a presence.
So, yeah. So I would guess that he's fine. I don't think that there's going to be time in the movie to do what they did with Maul, where they find him and he's insane and they take him back to Dathomir and restore him. Like, I think Palpatine's just got to be there and as mentally stable as he's always been. I don't think he's deteriorated.
Yeah.
He'll still be crazy and evil and everything, but...
I mean, if anything, I feel like he's had time to really get himself together.
He's going to be like, I'm a good guy now. I'm here to help.
Well, not like that. I mean, like, his plan, whatever plan he's been working on is finally going to come to fruition. And ultimately, he'll be defeated again, because, I mean, we can't wrap up this saga with him winning.
And then he wins.
Can we?
Right. I mean, that goes back to what I was saying before about I'm wary of, like, Darth Vader's legacy, and his sacrifice meant so much at the end of Return of the Jedi. I don't want it to mean any less after we see Episode 9. So they have a tightrope to walk. But, yeah, I don't think he's going to be, like, totally off his rocker like Maul was.
Yeah.
But he will have a half spider body.
Ooh, yeah. Or half Ewok body.
Because he's been stuck on Endor and the Death Star this whole time. Or he'll, like, have attached himself to an AT-ST.
Yeah. Ari Koenig asks if they should go to Galaxy's Edge or Star Wars Celebration next summer.
If you can only do one, I think I'd recommend Celebration. Galaxy's Edge is going to be there all the time. It's not going to change all that much, so you could go the year after. Word on the street is that Celebration's going to start being an every other year kind of thing. So we'll have Celebration next year, but no D23. And then in 2021, there will be a D23, but no Celebration. Mm-hmm. So I'd say go to Celebration and then get to Galaxy's Edge when you can, because all that stuff is still going to be there.
Yeah, and they're only going to keep making it better and, you know, updating the rides and stuff as new content comes out. So I'd say for sure Celebration, just because as a fan, it's such a cool experience.
It's kind of like a once in a lifetime thing. Like, I got to be in the room when they announced X. Hopefully they're announcing really cool stuff next year.
Yeah.
Whereas Galaxy's Edge, it's like, you can build a lightsaber whenever.
Yeah. But you can't always go to Oga's Cantina, apparently.
Yeah, it books up. That's it for patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, just head over to Patreon where we left you a written response. If you're not a patron, you can learn more by following the link in the description. Just $1 a month will get you access to extra Star Wars Explained content, like audio commentaries for the films, and for episodes of the Clone Wars. And this week we're releasing Grievous Intrigue, so that's out right now if you're interested.
Nice Donut asks if owning a lightsaber during the Empire or if you weren't a Jedi was illegal.
So, in the days of the Empire, was it illegal to have a lightsaber? Or, in the days of the Republic, could you have a lightsaber if you weren't a Jedi? I know for sure that in the Empire it was illegal to have one. Like, that was a black market item, and the Empire was trying to get rid of every hint that the Jedi ever existed.
Yeah, they threw a bunch of lightsabers basically into a giant fire.
Yep. And that's in the Darth Vader comic. And for the Republic, I don't know. I would imagine that it's frowned upon, but I don't know if it was technically illegal. I honestly don't know either way.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would be illegal because if you weren't a Jedi and someone saw you with a lightsaber, they'd be like,
Where'd you get that?
How'd you get that? Like, you must have killed a Jedi or something.
Yeah, like Qui-Gon hints. Maybe I killed a Jedi and took it from him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's probably... I doubt there was a law that said you can't have a lightsaber if you're not a Jedi, but it sure would raise a lot of questions.
Yeah, and I feel like if that had been a thing, we would have seen someone, a bounty hunter, Cad Bane maybe, with a lightsaber. For sure. Any bad guy.
I mean, I guess everyone that we see that has a lightsaber that isn't a Jedi are bad guys. So, yeah, it's got to be, unless it were like a family heirloom. But how would a Jedi have a family? It's just a bunch of questions.
Andrew Morris wants to know what Palpatine's plans for Maul would have been if he hadn't been cut in half.
I think he probably would have gotten rid of Maul. Because his original question said something like, he doesn't see Maul leading the Separatists. And I would agree, Count Dooku was a political figurehead. Maul was not. So, yeah, I kind of think Sidious would have gotten rid of him. I mean, we know that he wasn't exactly super strict with the rule of two, saying like, oh, I'm going to train this one to be the best Sith he can be, and then he'll replace me.
Yeah.
No, he was like, I'm going to use this person until I've outused them, and then I will get someone new.
I mean, he would have either, immediately gotten rid of him or tried to brainwash and use him to his advantage as long as he possibly could until Maul went crazy anyways, and then he would get rid of him.
That Maul, he's always crazy.
RJ Gonzaga asks if Bo-Katan could appear in The Mandalorian.
I hope so.
I think she could.
I love Katie Sackhoff, and I think that she could absolutely play Bo-Katan. Dye her hair red. That's it.
Yep.
That's all you need to do. She's Bo-Katan in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she's going to appear in season 1. I think that might be something that they build up towards, but I would absolutely be on board for her appearing in season 2 or 3 or something.
I think I talked about this a while ago when we first kind of learned more about The Mandalorian, but yeah, that would be a cool way to end the first season on a cliffhanger. Just have her show up for something that's going on.
Yeah.
That would for sure get people into season 2.
Like, I could see season 1 being similar to what they do with the animated shows, where you have Star Wars Rebels season 1 takes place mostly on Lothal. Star Wars Resistance season 1 takes place mostly on the Colossus. And I don't know, Mandalorian season 1 could mostly take place in this desert planet or whatever. But then if they get into season 2, the world opens up and they know kind of what the audience is, what kind of budget they can throw at it. We might get more and more into Mandalorian culture as it goes on.
Jarrett K. wants to know why the New Republic didn't make Coruscant its capital. Some crazy stuff went on there, and they probably wanted to distance themselves.
I do think that that's probably part of it. I mean, the Imperial Palace was set up on Coruscant, and I think that the New Republic setting up on Chandrila first was a symbolic kind of like, look, we're not going to be like the Empire, and then saying we're going to move the capital around every couple of years is also a good gesture, I think. But in the real world, I think they just knew they wanted to blow up the Senate, and they were like, oh, we probably shouldn't blow up Coruscant. And so they made up a new planet and they blew it up, and Coruscant is still safe.
Adam Sow asks if Boga survives her fall on Utapau. I think about this almost daily.
Well, I looked up her history, and there's nothing in canon. The Legends novelization, Obi-Wan assumes that she didn't survive her injuries or fall.
No.
But he
there's
doesn't
water
know.
down there.
He doesn't know for sure. And I'm very much like, if there's no body, there's no death in fiction. So in my mind, Boga's fine.
So Phasma's still alive.
She fell into an explosion. Boga fell into water. Obi-Wan could survive the fall. Boga can survive the fall.
No body. Sorry.
That's all the time we have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion.
And if you're interested in our shirts that we have on, Alex is sporting a vintage Episode 1 Pod Racing t-shirt. I will leave a link below for those as well.
If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.
Our first question comes from Brock...
Montori?
Yeah.
Brock?
If that were the case, he could actually make a whole Senate full of himself.
He is literally the Senate. It's all he ever wanted.
Yeah. Marshall Lee Merriman wants to know what non-movie character? Marshall Lee Merriman wants to know what non-movie character we would like to see a cameo... No.
Did I write it all right?
Yeah. I'm just adding.
We want to see cameo in.
I'm just adding extra words because I can. Marshall Lee Merriman wants to know what non-movie character we would want to see a cameo in. I did it again.
You did.
Character would we want to see cameo
in.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Ari Koenig asks if they should go to Galaxy's Edge or Star Wars Celebration next summer.
So then you go to Celebration in 2021. Like, it's still going to be there and it's not really going to change, but Celebration is different every time. And
you mean Galaxy's Edge?
Yeah, what did I say?
Celebration.
Oops. No, I'm totally lost. Can we start over?
But you can't always go to Oga's Cantina, apparently.
Yeah, it books up.
I'm not salty. Mm-hmm. Nice Donut asks if owning a lightsaber during the Empire... Wait. Or, wait. Nice Donut asks if owning a lightsaber during the Empire or if you weren't a Jedi was... That doesn't sound right to me. Was illegal.
It was.
Okay.
Like, they wanted to wipe out every sense of... What word am I looking for?
Carbon footprint.
And Coruscant is still safe.
Yeah. Dang it.